بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين اللهم أخرجني من ظلمات الوهم وأكرمني بنور الفهم اللهم افتح علينا أبواب رحمتك وانشر علينا خزائن علومك برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. Alhamdulillah, we have tawfiq to continue Kashf al-Murad. As you remember, we were talking about actions of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We already finished discussion about His essence and His attributes. And when it comes to His actions, now we are going to talk about al-mas'alatu thaniya, the second problem, the second issue. في أنه تعالى لا يفعل القبيح ولا يخل بالواجب. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would not do anything which is qabih. So we have already established that husn qub, goodness and badness in the moral sense, are real, and we can understand at least basics of this through our aql. Even if someone is not a religious person, still there is something as husn, there is something as badness, and we can understand by our aql. Now the question is it possible that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would do something which is qabih, something which is bad? For example, like lying, like deceiving, like doing zulm. And is it possible that something which is necessary, he would miss it, he would fail? So al-ikhlal bil-wajib means he doesn't bring what is necessary. For example, keeping his promise. Is it possible that Allah makes a promise and doesn't keep it? He said, if you do this, I will reward you. He wouldn't reward. So this is the question. According to the Ash'arites, there is no problem, because there is no such a thing as objective morality, and there is no such a thing as what is really good, what is really bad. Everything is based on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's actions and decisions and commands and prohibitions. So He can do what He likes. And of course, we also say He can do what He likes, but we believe that what He likes is only good. But they take it in a kind of arbitrary way, in a way that we can talk about, na'uzubillah, tyrants, that they can do whatever they like without bothering about any virtues or principles or values. So al-mas'alatu thaniya fi annahu ta'ala la yaf'alu al-qabih. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would not do something which is immoral, which is an ugly action, which is bad. Wala yukhillu bil-wajib, and He would not miss the wajib, He would not fail to bring something which is necessary. Khaja rahmatullah alayhi said, وَاسْتِغْنَاؤُهُ وَعِلْمُهُ يَدُلَّانَ عَلَى انْتِفَاءِ الْقُبْحِ and أَفْعَالِهِ ta'ala. He brings 2 points. The fact that Allah has no need. Why people do something bad? Because they have need. Either they want to meet their need, or they are forced by the limitations and weakness and needs that they have to do something. Maybe, for example, I don't want to do zulm, but if I don't know how to judge, I make zulm, I make injustice. So having need causing problem. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has no need, and He knows also all the things that are relevant in any case what are the problems, what are the opportunities, what are the means, what are the solutions, what are the possibilities, everything he knows. So he would do the best only. There is no reason why he should not do the best, why he should do the second best, let alone why he should do something bad. So istighna'uhu means istighna'ul wajib. Al-wajib means wajib ta'ala, not wajib in la yukhillu bil wajib. That la yukhillu bil wajib is not wajibul wujud. La yukhillu bil wajib, that wajib means something which is necessary. But istighna'uhu means istighna'ul wajib ta'ala. Wa ilmuhu, ilmul wajib ta'ala means God. Yadullan ala intifa'il qubh, they indicate that immorality would not be in his actions. It removes, it rejects the possibility of moral badness with respect to the actions of God the Almighty. Okay, now let's see how Allama Halli Rahmatullah Alayhi explains. Aqulu, Allama says, اختلف الناس هنا. People are here divided. Of course, here we mean by nas, nas in kalam, not nas on the street, means this a special group of people. These mutakallimin, theologians, have different opinions. فقالت المعتزلة, the Mu'tazilites have said, إنه تعالى لا يفعل قبيحا ولا يخل بواجب. Allah would not do anything which is qabih and would not fail anything which is wajib. You know, nakare fi siyaq al-nafi tadullu ala al-umum. In ilm al-usul we studied an-nakaratu fi siyaq al-nafi tadullu ala al-umum. When you say ma ra'aytu rajulan, means you have not seen any person. La yaf'alu qabihan means he would not do any qabih. وَنَازَعَ الْأَشْعَرِيَّةُ فِي ذَلِكَ. But the Ash'arites have disagreed, have, you know, a kind of conflict with this idea. وَأَسْنَدُ الْقَبَائِحَ إِلَيْهِ تَعَالَى. They have attributed qaba'ih to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They say Allah can send a pious person to hell if he wants. Allah can, you know, change his promises, whatever. Ta'ala Allahu an dhalik. But Allah is higher than, na'udhu billah, doing qaba'ih. وَالدَّلِيلُ عَلَى مَخْتَارَهُ الْمُعْتَزِلَةِ. The argument for the position that the Mu'tazilites have adopted is this. أَنَّ لَهُ دَاعِيًا إِلَى فِعْلِ الْحَسَنِ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has da'i. Da'i means motive. What invites you to do something, your motivation, your reason for doing something. Certainly Allah has da'i for doing good. He is benevolent and he likes to do good things. Actually, even human beings like to do good things, but they have other things that might conflict with that. Otherwise, if you leave a person to himself and he has no fear, no need, nothing, he would want to do good things. Like a human being which is still in the condition of fitra, like a child, they want to do good things. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has da'i, means something that calls him to action, a motive, for fi'l al-hasan. Fi'l al-hasan, not al-fi'l al-hasan, means for doing the good, not for good action. Although good action is not very far, but we are talking about doing, not about the action itself. So he has da'i for fi'l al-hasan, means for doing what is good. وَلَيْسَ لَهُ صَارِفٌ عَنْهُ, and there is nothing to stop him. There is nothing to block him. There is nothing to push him away from that. Sometimes we want to do something good, but we are not able. There is nothing to stop him. On the other hand, وَلَهُ صَارِفٌ عَنْ فِعْلِ الْقَبِيحِ وَلَيْسَ لَهُ دَاعٍ إِلَيْهِ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when it comes to doing bad actions, He has sarif. Means there is something to stop him, because His benevolent essence, His kind and merciful essence would not let him doing something bad. وَلَيْسَ لَهُ دَاعٍ إِلَيْهِ, and he has no motive to do bad things. وَهُوَ قَادِرٌ عَلَى كُلِّ مَقْدُورٍ, he can do everything. وَمَعَ وُجُودِ الْقُدْرَةِ, so if he has all the power to do everything, and he has a reason for doing good things, so he should do good things. Allah has all the power to do everything, including good things, and He has reason, because He's benevolent, to do good things, so He must do it. Why He should not do it? You must explain how is it possible that Allah would not do something good. I may not do something good because maybe I forget, maybe I don't know how to do it, maybe I have something more important, I'm taking care of that, I don't have time for this, I don't have resources for this, I don't have attention to this, I don't have manpower. None of these can apply to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If He wants something and He has the power, He should do it. مع وجود القدرة والداعي يجب الفعل. When there is power and there is motive, action is necessary. وإنما قلنا ذلك, and the only reason we said this is لأنه تعالى غني يستحيل عليه الحاجة, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is rich and it's impossible to have need. وهو عالم بحسن الحسن وقبح القبيح. On the other hand, in addition to His istighna, to being rich, He knows goodness of good actions and badness of bad actions. وَمِنَ الْمَعْلُومِ بِالضَّرُورَةِ, and what is known necessarily is أَنَّ الْعَالِمَ بِالْقَبِيحِ الْغَنِيَّ عَنْهُ لَا يَسْتُرُ عَنْهُ. When someone is aware of qabih and has no need to do qabih, would not do it. Qabih would not be coming from him. وَأَنَّ الْعَالِمَ بِالْحَسَنِ, and the one who can do something which is good, he knows alim and he can al-qadir alayh. Okay, if there is no mafsada, if there is no problem, no harm, فَإِنَّهُ يُوجِدُهُ, so he would do it, he would bring it. Then he makes a kind of explanation, further explanation. وَتَحْرِيرُهُ أَنَّ الْفِعْلِ بِالنَّظَرِ إِلَى ذَاتِهِ مُمْكِنٌ. Every action by its own essence is contingent. Maybe I am going to do it, maybe Allah is going to do it. So the action by itself is mumkin. But وَوَاجِبٌ بِالنَّظَرِ إِلَى إِلَّتِهِ. But if you consider its complete cause, then it becomes wajib. This is wujub or dharura بالقياس إلى الغير, if you consider it with relation to the illa. Or if you say illa makes it wajib, becomes wujub بالغير, because we have wujub بالذات, which is not here, but wujub بالقياس إلى الغير and wujub بالغير. If you remember, we said ma'lul gets wujub بالغير from illa. Also ma'lul is dharuri bil qiyas ila al-illah, means you consider the relation. But illa is ma'lul, with respect to ma'lul, is wajib bil qiyas, but not wajib bil ghayr. So if ma'lul is there, illat tamma must be there. If illat tamma is there, ma'lul must be there. Both of them have darurat bil qiyas, but darurat bil ghayr is only for ma'lul coming from illa, because ash-shay'u ma lam yajib lam yujad. This is wajib bil ghayr, not wajib bil zat. So أن الفعل بالنظر إلى ذاته ممكن, this action in itself is contingent, but if you consider it with respect to its complete cause, it becomes necessary. وكل ممكن مفتقر إلى قادر. Every contingent being needs something that has power. فإن إلته أنما تتم بواسطة القدرة والداعي. The complete cause for existence of any mumkin needs power of the cause and da'i. There must be a reason, a motive. فَإِذَا وُجِدَ فَقَدْ تَمَّ السَّبَبِ. If there is qudra and da'i, then the cause is complete. وَعِنْدَ تَمَامِ السَّبَبِ يَجِبُ وُجُودُ الْفِعْلِ. And if the cause is complete, then it has to come. وَإِذَا لَوْ جَازَ مِنْهُ فِعْلُ الْقَبِيحِ أَوِ الْإِخْلَالُ بِالْوَاجِبِ. Another problem. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala could miss wajib or could do something which is bad, then no one could trust him. لو جاز منه فعل القبيح أو الإخلال بالواجب لارتفع الوثوق. Trust would be gone. الوثوق بوعده ووعيده. Trust in his promise and threat. Wa'd is to promise something good, and wa'id is to threaten for kind of punishment, for a kind of warning. Why trust would be going? لإمكان تطرق الكذب عليه, because then it is possible that na'uzu billah, he may lie. ولا جاز منه إظهار المعجزة على يد الكاذب. Maybe he says, let me misguide human beings. I give miraculous power to a liar who claims to be prophet. Why he should not do that? If you say that there is no real goodness and badness and God can do everything. لارتفع الوثوق بوعده ووعيده لإمكان تطرق الكذب عليه, because it's then possible that kizb reaches this. وَلَجَازَ مِنْهُ إِظْهَارُ الْمُعْجِزَةِ. So kizb can touch Allah or reach Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Also it is possible that Allah or wajib al-wujud make mu'jiza, something that emerge on the hand of a liar. وَذَلِكَ يُفْضِي. And then what happens? If we have such lack of trust, يُفْضِي إِلَى الشَّكِّ فِي صِدْقِ الْأَنْبِيَاءِ. Then we doubt the truth of Anbiya. Because we said this mu'jiza could not be brought by any human being, by any jinn. It's a sign of support from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But if Allah can support even bad people, okay, it's a sign of support, but it doesn't prove that he is then a genuine prophet. وَذَلِكَ يُفْضِي إِلَى الشَّكِّ فِي صِدْقِ الْأَنْبِيَاءِ. Then it would lead to doubting the truth of the prophets. وَيَمْتَنِعُ الْإِسْتِدْلَالِ بِالْمُعْجِزَةِ عَلَيْهِ. And then we cannot use miracle to argue for the truthfulness of the prophets who claim to be prophets. Okay, alhamdulillah, this number 2 finished. Number 3 is that although Allah would not do qabih, we said innahu ta'ala la yaf'alul qabih, but there is another question. Is he capable of doing qabih or he cannot do qabih? He doesn't do qabih, but is it because he cannot or he can and he doesn't want? The answer is he can. Qabih by itself is mumkin. It's maybe a human being is going to do it. Since qabih by itself is mumkinun bidhat, Allah can do it, but would not do it. He would certainly not do it. The action is mumkin, but coming from God is not possible. We say it's muhal wuqu'i. It's not muhal dhati, but it's muhal wuqu'i. Means it's not possible to occur from God. في أنه تعالى قادر على القبيح. Allah is capable for doing immoral things. قال مع قدرته عليه لعموم النسبة ولا ينافي الامتناع اللاحق. Also, Allah has power over it, means over qabih, because of umum nisbah, because the relation between him and these actions are the same. هو على كل شيء قدير. Shaykh is shay, anything. Good or bad, he can do it, unless something in itself is impossible. For example, 2 + 2 becomes 5. This is not shay, this is impossible. But anything which is mumkin dhatan, it's shay, and Allah can do it, but he may never do it. That's another issue. أقول ذهب العلماء كافة إلى أنه تعالى قادر على القبيح. All the scholars of Kalam have said that Allah can do what is qabih إلا النظام. Nazam was a Mu'tazili figure of the 2nd and 3rd century. I found for him not the exact date of birth, but it might be available, but at least we know he was in the 2nd and 3rd century of Islam, 8th and 9th century of Christian era. His name is Abu Ishaq Ibrahim ibn Sayyar ibn Hani, and is known mostly as Nazam al-Mu'tazili. And actually he has a group of people who follow him, Nazamiyya, and he had some of ideas of his own and some of ideas of general a school of Mu'tazilite. So apart from Nazam, who said Allah cannot do qabih, everyone says Allah can do qabih. Can, not he's going to do, but he has the ability. وَالدَّلِيلُ عَلَى ذَلِكَ. What is the argument for this? That he can. أَنَّا قَدْ بَيَّنَّا عُمُومَ نِسْبَةِ قُدْرَتِهِ إِلَى الْمُمْكِنِ. We said that his power embraces all mumkinat. Everything contingent, he can do it. وَالْقَبِيهُ مِنْهَا فَيَكُونُ مُنْدَرَجًا تَحْتَ قُدْرَتِهِ. Even something which is qabih is mumkin. So mumkinat can be qabih, but still it's mumkin and his power belongs to that. احتج, it has been argued, maybe someone like Nazam has argued, بأن وقوعه منه يدل على الجهل أو الحاجة. Some people said if Allah does qabih, then it means that he is ignorant or he has need. Otherwise, why he should do qabih? وهما منفيان في حق تعالى. And these two, jahl and haja, are negated from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay, what's the answer? The answer is this: الامتناع هنا بالنظر إلى الحكمة. You are missing one point, and that is, are you talking about essential possibility and impossibility, or you are talking about secondary issues? Qabih action in essence is mumkin, but we don't say God is going to do it. So this impossibility, this imtina here comes from what? إن الامتناع هنا بالنظر إلى الحكمة. You want to say it's not wise for God to do it, but it doesn't mean that he cannot do it. فهو امتناع لاحق. This is a kind of impossibility that comes later. لا يؤثر في الإمكان الأصلي. It comes on top of إمكان الذاتي. No problem. Something is ممكن ذاتان, but مستحيل بالغير, for example, because its cause is not complete. ولهذا عقب المصنف الاستدلال على مراده بالجواب عن الشبهة التي له وإن لم يذكرها صريحا. Therefore, the late Khajah has brought استدلال على مراده, argument for his own claim, with what he brought after his own argument. عقب بكذا means brought it afterwards. Answer to the question, to the paradoxical question that Nazam had, although he didn't mention the name of Nazam. As you know, his manner is not to mention who made these objections, and even sometimes he doesn't mention the objections, he right away gives the answer. Something very much related to this, and we had it in Baba Hadi Ash, is again another conflict between Ash'arites and Mu'tazilites. Of course, Shiites in many cases and Mu'tazilites in this issue are close to each other. There are some differences, like the Jabr wala Tafriz, but in many cases they both have a rational approach, and they are very much interested in Husn Qubh Zati and Aqli. So now let's go to another topic of debate. Does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have purpose, gharaz? Is there any end for his action or not? Ash'ari said no, because then God becomes in need of pursuing his aim. But Mu'tazilites say certainly God has purpose, but the purpose is to benefit us, to benefit creatures. If it was to benefit himself, that was a problem. Your problem, your point is good, but not about in a general way saying Gharaz is a problem. Your problem was good, that you should treat God as someone who has no need. If someone thinks he does something to meet his need, that's a problem, but it doesn't mean that he has no purpose. You remember we had this poem that in Farsi, من نکردم خلق تا سودی کنم بلکه تا بر بندگان جودی کنم. I have not created people in order to make a profit, to benefit from. No, I have created them to show them my generosity. But he wants to show generosity. It's not that he does something in vain and he doesn't know why. No, there is a purpose. المسألة الرابعة في أنه يفعل لغرض. Allah does things for purpose. قال, Khajah said, وَنَفْيُ الْغَرَاض يَسْتَلْزِمُ الْعَبَث. If you deny purpose, it means that it implies abath, means doing things in vain. وَلَا يَلْزَمْ عَوْدُهُ إِلَيْهِ. It doesn't need to go back to God. Aud means audul qaraz. This purpose does not need to go back to him. Means the purpose is not that benefit himself. So he has gharaz, but not to benefit himself. Ash'ari were saying no, he has no gharaz, because they thought gharaz always must be to benefit yourself. أقول اختلف الناس هنا. Again, he says people have disagreed here. فذهبت المعتزلة إلى أنه تعالى يفعل لغرض. Mu'tazila said Allah does things for purpose. وَلَا يَفْعَلُ شَيْئًا لِغَيْرِ فَائِدَةٍ. Allah will not do anything which has no benefit. There must be a benefit, not for himself, but there must be a benefit. وَذَهَبَتِ الْأَشَاعِرَةُ إِلَىٰ أَنَّ أَفْعَالَهُ تَعَالَىٰ يَسْتَحِيلُ تَعْلِيلُهَا بِالْأَغْرَاضِ وَالْمَقَاصِدِ. Ash'ari said, actions of God are impossible to be explained based on purposes, why he does these things. Obviously, we don't agree with Ash'arites. وَالدَّلِيلُ عَلَى مَذْهَبِ الْمُعْتَزِلَةِ أَنَّ كُلَّ فِعْلٍ لَا يُفْعَلُ لِغَرَضٍ فَإِنَّهُ عَبَثٌ. Every action that has no purpose, it's done without any purpose, is abathun, is absurd, is in vain. Well, abathu qabihun, to do things like this in vain is not right. Wallahu ta'ala yastahilu minhu fi'lul qabih. Allah is impossible to do something which is qabih. So he doesn't do anything without purpose. احتج المخالف. Ash'arites have argued بأن كل فاعل لغرض وقصد فإنه ناقص بذاته. They said every agent, every doer that does something for gharaz, for a purpose, means that I am in need and I want to complete myself. مستكمل بذلك الغرض. He wants to complete himself with that purpose. والله تعالى يستحيل عليه النقصان. But Allah is impossible to have any deficiency. The answer is this: he can have purpose but not to benefit himself. النقص أنما يلزم النقص أنما يلزم لو عاد الغرض والنفع إليه. Imperfection would be implied if purpose and benefit go back to himself, to fa'il. Then it would mean God is na'uzu billah naqis. Amma idha kana naf'u a'idan ila ghayrih. But if the benefit is going to others, fala, then there is no problem. كما نقول إنه تعالى يخلق العالم لنفعهم. Allah created the world for the benefit of the creatures. So there is qaraz لنفعهم, but the qaraz is not going to benefit himself. Qaraz is to benefit people. Okay, so alhamdulillah we finished this. Then inshallah we have to go to something more than action of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This was about لا يفعل القبيح ولا يخل بالواجب. Now we have to go to the will of God and see whether God would be willing good things or would be disliking bad things or not. Inshallah we will discuss this in the next session. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. So now if you have any question, please feel free. Any discussion, any question?
I have a question.
Yes.
So, to be very honest, I never really understood why the issue of doing something arbitrary is qabih outside. So I always have this idea that we human beings try to set a standard that we like, that makes us feel comfortable and at peace, and then we apply that to God, that we should, that's what somebody else might tell us, that you're thinking of God something that is pleasing to you so that you can feel better, but there's no real proof of this. So one of those things is the issue of arbitrary actions. How can we really say that arbitrary actions are qabih? Because in the argument it was just said that an arbitrary action is qabih and God doesn't do qabih. But how do we establish objectively that I understand that oppressive actions are qabih. Doing oppression, doing dhulm, qabih. But somebody does an arbitrary action, why is that necessarily qabih? Outside of saying that it's just not wise and God has to be wise. What if God just wants to do something like that without really a reason? he's able, he does something, it doesn't hurt anybody, and other than to see that it's not wise, how can we just independently say that an arbitrary action is qabih? Isn't that a human criteria, that an arbitrary action is qabih?
Sometimes you look at the action itself, sometimes you look at doing the action. The action itself is not a problem necessarily, but doing that action, if it is arbitrary, that's a problem, because Hakim never does anything arbitrarily. Why should Allah just by
it's another argument then. It means it's qabih because it's opposed to wisdom, and wisdom means doing the best. This is what we mean by qabih.
Qabih is more general, anything which you are going to be blamed if you do it, anything that morally is blameworthy, anything that morally is preferred not to do it, is qabih. So for someone like Allah, with all the qualities that he has, if he does something without having any reason, he says something and he has no reason, he says do this, not do this, and he has no reason, we cannot.
I'll just follow up a little bit. Allow me, please, and I hope I'm not over asking.
Yeah.
You know, basically, the shak that I have, the suspicion that I have with this line of reasoning,
yes,
is that when we establish that God doesn't do the qabih, we use things like fulfilling a promise, like saying the truth, like, for example, not putting somebody in the hellfire when they're deserving of heaven, things like this.
Yes.
And then we made the case that therefore there is an objective criteria for qabih and hasan. But then it feels like we're adding more things to that criteria, which are compatible with our human liking, which is that he doesn't do something arbitrary. It feels to me like the arbitrary one would need, if you take it from the door of wisdom, it's impossible, because we defined wisdom to be a particular way. But if you take it from the door of qabih, which is a moral standard that basically we all know, then here it feels like it might be a human liking that Allah would not do something arbitrary, because that's just qabih. Why are you doing something for no reason? I understand that as humans we don't like to do something for no reason, but that seems like it's more of a human inclination if we take it from the
what about hikmah? Hikmah is not for human only.
Hikmah is objective because
so if God fails to act according to wisdom, if God has no reason for his actions, this is also not acceptable. So something which is neutral in itself is mumkin, but God would never do something which is, neutral, something which has no advantage, no preference, let alone doing something which is bad. Whatever he does should have some preference, otherwise there is no way to explain why he does it. There must be da'i, there must be something to motivate for him, helping, benefiting, showing generosity, preparing ground for perfection. These are the things that make him decide do things. But if he does just something by random, or by gambling, like throwing lots, we should do it or we should do it, it does it. No. His actions must suit him.
Thank you so much, Sheikh. That was helpful.
Ahsantum. Thank you very much for the good question. Is there any other question?
Inshallah, please feel free to unmute anytime and ask the question, or send it if you like by text and I could ask it.
Okay, if there is a question, inshallah, next week, bi'iznillah, the same times, 6 o'clock, inshallah, we will have Kashf al-Murad, and then I think after that then we have to maybe go back to 7 for after Ramadan, but inshallah we'll discuss it next week. May Allah inshallah accept your amal and prepare all of us for Laylatul Qadr, the last one inshallah. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Thank you very much, Abu Hussein. Thank you very much. Ahsant.